I can't marry you, Leo. 5 words. That's all it took to destroy 6 years of my life. I sat there in that overpriced coffee shop, the ring box burning in my jacket pocket, watching the woman I'd sacrificed everything for tell me I wasn't good enough anymore. What? The word came out strangled, like my throat had forgotten how to function. Sophia sat across from me in a suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Perfect hair, perfect nails, perfect makeup. She looked like success. She looked like a stranger. We're in different places now, she said, and I could hear it. She'd rehearsed this. Different worlds. Different worlds? My voice cracked. Sophia, I put you in your world. Every dime I made. And I'm grateful. She cut me off. But Leo, look at us. I'm making 6 figures. I'm meeting with CEOs. My colleagues are all. She paused. They're all at a certain level. My hands clenched so tight my nails dug into my palms. And you're a mechanic, Leo. There it was. The word I'd worn with pride my entire life, mechanic, turned into something dirty. Something small. The same mechanic, I said quietly, who worked 3 jobs so you could go to school. Who called in favors to get you hired. Who believed in you when you served coffee for tips. Her jaw tightened. It's not about good enough. It's about compatibility. Social circles. Professional image. About being ashamed of me. She didn't deny it. That silence confirmed everything. Around us, the coffee shop kept breathing, cups clinking, laughter spilling from nearby tables, a barista calling out names like nothing in the world had just collapsed. It struck me then how cruel normal life could be. How it didn't pause for heartbreak. I suddenly became aware of the ring again, heavy in my pocket. My grandmother's ring. 53 years of marriage. Survival through wars and recessions. I'd polished it that morning, convinced tonight would change my life forever. Instead, it was the night I learned love could expire quietly. Sophia stared at her coffee like it held the answers. I stared at her and tried to reconcile the woman in front of me with the girl who once cried in my arms because she couldn't afford school. Somewhere between then and now, I had become an inconvenience. A reminder of a past she wanted to erase. I realized in that moment that this wasn't a conversation. It was a conclusion. And I was the only one hearing it for the first time. Give me 4 image prompt for this chapter. Let me rewind. 6 years ago, I met Sophia at Joe's Diner, the kind of place where the coffee was cheap, the floors were always a little sticky, and everyone was either passing through or trying to escape. She was a waitress with big dreams and no money to chase them. I fell hard for her smile, her ambition, her fire. She talked about the future like it was a promise, not a gamble. I was a mechanic then. Still am. Grease under my nails, long hours, honest work. She never seemed to mind that at first. In fact, she said she admired it. Said it meant I built things that lasted. When she got accepted to State University but couldn't afford it, I watched that fire in her eyes flicker into fear. She tried to laugh it off, but I could hear the panic underneath. All that potential, one step from slipping away. So I made a choice. I told myself it was simple. That if I loved her, I'd help her. That dreams like hers deserved a chance. I didn't think about what it would cost me. I didn't think about what it might change between us. I just knew I wasn't going to be the reason she stayed small. And at the time, that felt like love. I'll pay for it, I said one night, sitting on the hood of my '67 Mustang, the engine still ticking as it cooled. She laughed, shaking her head. Leo, that's 4 years of tuition. 4 years of investing in the woman I love. I interrupted. You're going to do great things, Sophia. Her laughter collapsed into tears. They came fast, uncontrollable, like she'd been holding them back for too long. I'll pay you back, she said between sobs. Every cent. I don't want your money, I told her. I want your happiness. She kissed me then, hard and desperate, like she was afraid I might disappear. I love you so much. I love you too, I said. Always. I meant it. So I worked. Doubles. Triples. Every shift other mechanics turned down. I came home exhausted, hands aching, clothes smelling of oil and sweat. My savings drained steadily into her tuition, her books, her future. My own dreams got pushed aside, filed away for a later version of my life. But every time she smiled, every time she talked about her classes with that spark in her eyes, it felt worth it. Back then, love felt like purpose. 4 years later, she graduated top of her class. I stood in the crowd in a borrowed shirt, clapping until my hands hurt, tears sliding down my face without shame. I'd never been prouder of anyone in my life. Watching her walk across that stage felt like watching a promise come true. After the ceremony, she hugged me and whispered, "We did it." And for a moment, I believed that too. I even got her the job. I convinced Mr. Harrington, one of my regulars at the shop, to take a chance on her at his marketing firm. He trusted me. That meant something back then. She thanked me, kissed my cheek, told me she'd never forget what I'd done for her. She didn't struggle the way I thought she might. She thrived. Promotions came quickly. Raises followed. Success stacked neatly on top of success. I cheered her on from the sidelines, proud and tired and quietly hopeful. But with every step she took upward, she started to look down less often. Conversations changed. Time together thinned out. And somewhere in those 4 years of sacrifice, I began to feel like a chapter in her life she was slowly closing. I just didn't know yet that I was already being left behind. She invited me to a company dinner, said it would be good for us. I remember standing in front of the mirror that night, debating which jeans looked least out of place. I settled on my best pair and a button-down I only wore on special occasions. I already felt like I was preparing for a test I didn't study for. The restaurant was expensive in that quiet, confident way. Her colleagues sat around the table in tailored suits, talking about profit margins and projections like it was casual conversation. I nodded when appropriate, smiled when expected. Then a guy named Brandon leaned toward me. "So, Leo," he said, swirling his wine, "Sophia tells us you're a mechanic?" The way he said it, like it was quaint. Like it was adorable. Like it was beneath them. "I own Leo's Auto Repair," I replied, keeping my voice steady. "How nice," his girlfriend purred. "Working with your hands must be so physical." They laughed. Not loudly. Politely. The kind of laughter that cuts without leaving marks. The kind that says, "We're better than you." I looked at Sophia, waiting for her to say something. Anything. She just sipped her wine and changed the subject. On the drive home, the silence pressed in on me. "I felt like I didn't belong there," I finally said. "Leo, they're just different people." "Different from me, you mean?" My hands shook on the steering wheel. "You're embarrassed of me. Just admit it." She looked away. "I'm just adjusting." But her eyes told the truth. That was the night I realized love doesn't always end with a breakup. Sometimes it ends the first time someone lets you be disrespected and says nothing. And that's when I knew I was already losing her. "I think it's best if we don't see each other anymore," Sophia said, her voice calm, almost kind. "I need to think about my future. About what's appropriate for someone in my position." There it was. Not anger. Not guilt. Just distance. I nodded like I understood, even though my chest felt tight, like something was caving in. I reached into my jacket and pulled out the ring box, my grandmother's ring. The one that survived wars and depressions and 53 years of marriage. I'd always believed it carried a kind of quiet strength. I set it on the table between us. "This was going to be yours," I said. "I was going to propose tonight." She stared at it like it was fragile. Like touching it might force her to feel something she wasn't ready for. "Give it to someone who deserves it," she whispered. "I tried to," I said. "But she just told me I'm not good enough." For a moment neither of us moved. The noise of the coffee shop filled the space between us, cups clinking, voices rising and falling, life continuing without us. I realized then how final this was. How carefully she had already stepped away. I stood up before I could say something I couldn't take back. I walked out and didn't look back. I left the ring on the table. Left 6 years of love sitting there beside her overpriced latte. The waiter turned it into lost and found. After 30 days, they donated it. Some things, once thrown away, can never be reclaimed. The months after nearly broke me. Some mornings, getting out of bed felt like lifting an engine block with bare hands. But I rebuilt myself the same way I rebuild engines, slowly, patiently, piece by piece. You don't rush repairs if you want something to last. I expanded the garage. Took on more work. Started teaching auto repair at the community college in the evenings. At first, it was just a distraction. Then it became something more. My students reminded me why I loved this work, not because it impressed anyone, but because it helped people. Because it mattered. Cars break down, I tell them. But people still have places to be. When you fix a car, you're giving someone their life back, even if it's just for the day. That's when I met Anna. Her car broke down in my lot on a Tuesday afternoon. She looked frustrated, embarrassed, apologetic. I fixed it for free. She insisted on buying me dinner anyway. One dinner became two. Two became long conversations and quiet laughter. Two became something steady. I think what you do is important, she told me one night. You help people get where they need to go. That's beautiful. And just like that, I fell in love with her, for seeing value where Sophia once saw shame. I saw Sophia at a gas station on a cold November night. The kind of cold that settles into your bones. She stood beside a sleek car, fumbling with the pump in designer heels, frustration written all over her face. For a second, I wondered if my mind was playing tricks on me. Every instinct said run. But I couldn't. Need help? I called. She turned, and our eyes met. Leo. The sound of my name on her lips felt unfamiliar, like something from a different life. I filled her tank in silence, the steady click of the pump stretching the moment longer than it needed to be. I focused on the task, on anything except the memories rushing back. When I finished, she spoke. You look happy. I'm getting there, I said. You. Partner at the firm. House in the hills. Everything I wanted. Her smile didn't hold. I heard you're teaching now. Yeah. Honest work. It is honest work, she said quickly. It always was. Her eyes filled then, the composure slipping. I was wrong, Leo. So wrong. I was terrified people would see me as the girl you saved instead of the woman I became. I thought if I left you, I could leave all of that behind. And did you? I asked. She shook her head, tears spilling over. No. I see you everywhere. Her voice cracked. I made the biggest mistake of my life. I listened without interrupting, surprised by how little anger I felt. The past stood between us, heavy but quiet. For the first time, I realized I wasn't standing in the shadow of what we'd lost. I was standing beyond it. I looked at her and felt only pity. I'm getting married next month, I said. Her name's Anna. She's a teacher. She thinks fixing cars matters. I smiled. She makes me feel like I'm enough. Sophia's face fell apart. I'm happy for you. I know. I nodded. And I forgive you. I paused. But forgiveness doesn't mean going back. It means being free. I got into my truck and drove away, watching her fade in my rearview mirror. You want to know about karma? Sophia didn't lose her job or go bankrupt. She didn't fall apart the way people expect villains to. She rose higher. CEO. Magazine features. Success stacked neatly on top of success. But I married Anna. We had 2 kids. Built a life full of love, Sunday dinners, and people who choose to be there. A life that doesn't need applause to feel real. My hands are still stained with grease. I'll never be rich. But every night, I go home to a woman who loves me. Kids who think I hung the moon. A life that matters. Sophia goes home to an empty penthouse. She has everything. And she has nothing. See, karma isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes karma is living with the ghost of what you destroyed. Sometimes karma is having everything you thought you wanted and realizing it's not enough. Sometimes karma is knowing you had your chance at happiness, and you threw it away with your own hands. I heard she never married. Never had kids. Never found someone who looked at her the way I used to. Is that karma? Maybe. What I know is this: I'm free. I'm happy. I'm loved. And she's still running from the girl who served coffee, still trying to prove she's worth more than where she came from. The saddest part? She always was worth more. I saw it from day one. She just needed someone else to see it too. And when they didn't, she thought the problem was me. It wasn't. It never was. P.S. They say she still has my number saved. Late at night, when the penthouse is too quiet and the city lights stop impressing her, she sometimes hovers over the call button. She never presses it. Because you can't go back. You can only live with what you chose. The first crack of years passed. I married Anna in a small ceremony at the garage, the same place where I'd once dreamed of a future with Sophia. It felt right. Honest. We had 2 children who grew up learning that the measure of a person isn't their paycheck, but their character. The garage thrived. My students thrived. And my heart, once broken, learned how to love again, differently, but deeper. Sophia continued to rise. She became CEO by 40. Featured in Forbes. A guest speaker at her alma mater, standing in front of bright-eyed students, talking about breaking glass ceilings and believing in themselves. She never married. She dated, of course. Men with the right pedigree. The right education. The right connections. But something was always missing. That spark. That certainty. That feeling of being truly seen. Late at night, alone in her penthouse, she sometimes pulled out an old photo, her in a waitress uniform, me in my work clothes, both of us laughing on the hood of my '67 Mustang. She traced my face with her finger and did the math. Calculated what her life might have been. 2 children. A house filled with laughter. A partner who loved her not for what she achieved, but for who she was. She'd close the album, pour another glass of wine, and tell herself she made the right choice. That success was worth it. That she had no regrets. But late at night, when the city lights couldn't chase away the darkness, she knew the truth. And that truth lived with her every single day. Because karma doesn't always come roaring back with vengeance and justice. Sometimes karma is quieter. More insidious. Sometimes karma is waking up every day with everything you thought you wanted, and realizing you traded everything that mattered to get it. Sometimes karma is sitting at the top of your tower, alone, while the man you left behind builds a kingdom of love below. Sometimes karma is knowing, with absolute certainty, that you had your chance at happiness, and you threw it away, not because you had to, but because you chose to. And for Sophia, that knowledge was a life sentence. She wanted to escape being the girl who was saved. Instead, she became the woman who couldn't save herself.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe.